this feeling, baby, we're invincible.
Hi guys, and welcome back to a new episode of Rebuilding Notts County. It's a brand new season. It's our first ever season in Europe. Turns out we go straight to the group stages, so that's kind of nice. Just as a side note, today's episode is going to be the Charity Shield against Manchester City. So technically the window hasn't shut yet, and I might well be able to get a bit more business done before the end of it, because I do still have some money left and some plugs that I kind of want to fill. Now, before we get into anything else, it's time to thank new patrons since it is the start of the week, and this week, wow. So firstly, Stefanos Methios upping his pledge. That is incredible. Also, new patrons Matthew Derrick and Normal Football, something I would know nothing about. But seriously, thank you so much. As I always say, it's strange to me that given the hundreds, well, maybe tens of thousands of channels that you could potentially patron, you chose this one. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. And thank you for allowing me to keep the channel alive. And that's awesome. I've kind of just come to the conclusion over the last few weeks that at the start of this FM, I had a real focus on trying to actually grow the channel, reach new faces and that. And I think I need to concentrate more on doing what I want to do and what you guys liked in the first place and just having fun with FM. And that's what I'm really going to steer into with the next save, but also just for the rest of this one. Just having a good time and playing some Football Manager. That's kind of why I liked making videos in the first place. So I think getting back to that's an important factor. Right, so the Mexican elephant in the room here is Juan Antonio Cerezo. And a lot of you will have known all about him from last season, the Norwich City striker who, as you can see down there, 72 games, 36 goals. Particularly in that first season, he shot Norwich to, I believe, a top half finish. An incredible. Unfortunately, they got relegated. Now, we did have a look, and he had a £26 million release clause. And everyone, as I expected in the comments, was like, sign this guy for the love of God. Sign this guy because, of course, Mpepo and Troffin just really were not cutting the mustard. They did not score many goals that weren't penalties last season. And I feel like with a striker, we could genuinely be lethal. And a lot of people suggested this is the guy. He's proven that he could do it in the Premier League. All is good. £26 million relegation release clause. But the main thing you'll be noticing is that he's currently playing for Lyon. He did sign for them for £26 million. I did put a bid in early in the summer. I was having a little bit of a look around for strikers and I couldn't really see anything particularly amazing. So I thought, you know what? This might be the best bet for us right now. We know he has a track record. So I put the bid in, obviously triggered the release clause. You'll notice here that he's on £83,000 a week at Lyon. That would be nice, wouldn't it? He wanted 135 to play for us. And that was with me negotiating it down. At first, he wanted more money than I was literally allowed to offer, which is what I was concerned about. And then even with me adding in like appearance fees and all kinds of clauses and stuff, I still only got it down to £135,000. And in the end, I basically decided I don't believe he's worth £135,000. And that was still a bit of a bold move at that point in the summer, given that we had no one else lined up. But I really felt like we could do better for cheaper, potentially, because of the fact that he was coming from Norwich. He was still going to demand a lot more money. So, and don't worry, I have signed a striker. He's actually on more money, but I think he's better. And that's the main thing. And he's cost us less in transfer fees too. So do not worry. We have plugged the gap, but I just felt like Cerezo was not quite the guy for us in the long run. Also, we looked in the analysis video at the Brighton centre-back Jespersen. He had a £32 million release clause in the end, which I believed was way too much. It's still a very good deal if we'd have been able to get him, but I didn't feel like spending that amount of money on a centre-back when we actually had an excellent centre-back partnership was what I wanted to be doing at this point in the save. There's also been a massive update, apparently, to the 20.3 version. That was actually on Thursday night, but it's now Monday morning, and I've not actually played any games since then, because I actually recorded a lot of the episodes on Thursday last week. So, yeah, I've not had a chance to play on it. Apparently, AI from corners has been improved, which is just glorious. It's the only thing left, really, that I'm irked by, and that would be, if they could get the game to a state where it's like that, I would be so happy. But now, and we don't know anything about our Europa League groups. We won't know that till the next episode, so that is going to be dicey. It's going to be fun as hell. So, outs first, as always, and then we'll take a look at some of the signings. There's been a few less this year. I've tried to really, pinpoint, but also sign a few youngsters too. And again, I'm not done yet, and I do want to sign one more at least players in one position, which we'll find out more about in a minute. So first, Sam Hughes has been released, not picked up by any other clubs, so he's still, £23,000 off the bill though. Then Regan Booty. I had a plan in the analysis video to let him go and then re-sign him so that we could get him to new contract. Wouldn't even enter the negotiations. I wonder if he'll enter now. No, looking for a new challenge. It's been a real shame the way things have gone with Regan Booty, as has Anthony Jones, our man who did really well out on Fard. I think that the new update slightly changed some of the regen faces, because I noticed that on the analysis video, which I did record on Friday. Gabriel Arnold, who I genuinely forgot was still here, has moved back to, I think, Slovakia for £6,000, but he got his wages off the bill, I suppose. He never really had much success for us, scored one goal in the Premier League, so there you go. This is not in order of when they left. He left relatively recently, but I'm saving some of the bigger outs till the end. Also joining Watford is Vitalius Polauskas. He left. He was complaining complaining about lack of football. We knew he wasn't going to get in over Marvin Suarez. He's only gone for £2.5 million, but the key thing was his wage. Not that he was on high wages anyway, but we got some money for him. There's some clauses in there too, and hopefully he'll have a long, successful career at Watford. He played nearly 100 Premier League games, 100 games anyway, for the club, and he did a good job for us at first. But now Marvin Suarez has just come in and completely controlled that goalkeeping situation for us. Next up, Radislav Mijic, the defensive midfielder, has left to go to Reading permanently. 1.2 million up front, rising to 1.5 with clauses and whatnot. I was just looking at players who I didn't think were going to play, and I wanted to get their wages off the bill. And it's very important because Mijic was actually on like 12 grand a week, so quite important to get that money off the wage bill. So we've done that. He's gone as well. Some more money in the bank, which was important, believe me, because we spent quite a bit of money on some signings. This one won't surprise anyone either. Yoon Dong-yong has left to go to Celta Vigo. Only 1.1 rising to 1.3 million, but again, it's wages off the book. He wasn't going to reach the level I wanted, and his contract was going to expire at the end of this year. So I figured getting him off the books now, getting a little bit of money with a clause in there as well in case he does anything decent whilst at Celta Vigo, and we can just, I've brought in some youngsters to kind of fill the gap in the defence anyway, in behind our two main men. I would have loved to have signed Jespersen, but it just wasn't the right deal at the time. Next out is Kim Gui-hyun. He's moved to Leicester City. I wasn't a fan of him particularly. I felt that Lamjed did an excellent job for us last year, and I wanted to sign another right back, but I thought this guy was on big money, and I felt that there was a chance for us to get rid of him for big money. Eventually, I don't think it was as much money as I would have liked. It was £13 million was the deal to move him to Leicester City. But I think for a guy that we didn't pay a great deal for, I think we paid like a couple of million, to get 13 million for him was a pretty solid piece of business for us. He was on like 25 grand a week at us as well. So it just moved on some money, got us a huge chunk of transfer fee. And again, I think he could be a solid player for Leicester, but he just wasn't quite cutting it in the style of football that we played. And therefore, I didn't think he was quite good enough for us in the end. And there's one more big out, and that is Francisco Guajardo. He's moved to Independiente for 17.5 million, rising to 19 million. Now, for a guy that we signed for, I think 4.8, we basically quadrupled our money on him. But more importantly, he was on 68 grand a week here, and I was determined not to have that on the bill. Now, this could have been better for us if he hadn't screwed us. Originally, when I offered him out to other clubs, we had a whole host of them coming in. One of them particularly was Hertha Berlin, who put a straight bid of 20 million up front on the table, and I went, yep, I'm having that. And yeah, unfortunately, he then rejected the contract from them, so it could have been more money. And not only that, but in order to get him to move to Independiente, we had to pay like 6 grand a week of his wages, which is annoying. But remember, he was on £68,000 a week, so we've saved a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. But it's annoying because Hertha weren't even asking us to do that. I think they've got big money at the moment due to, is it Windhurst, the new guy? But I don't know if that's modelled in the game or whether that's, and they were in the second tier in Germany. But he has gone. I felt it was the right move for him at the time because we've got Darren Lever there. He's improving every day, and we've obviously got our man Dario Santana. So I thought a chance to cash in on Guajardo and get nearly £20 million is a pretty good deal. So you can see we've raked in a solid sort of 35 million in transfer fees this summer, which is very much important. So the first signing that we're bringing in, now again, this isn't a player that I was like super keen to go after, but the key thing is he's joining us on a free transfer. That's the main thing here from Cruzeiro, because he's a 6'1", solid-ish centre-back at 17, good tackling, marking and heading. There is this, but I feel like, and also the injury proneness, but I've taken a risk on him because, again, he's not on high wages and he's going to be on a free transfer, so I couldn't really say no to bolstering our defence with a player like this for free. And this is he. This is Nicholas Nielsen, also coming from FC Copenhagen, £5.25 million. But the main reason I went for him is because you know that we're lacking in terms of backup for Stepanek. Now, again, this, sure, but he has a lot of things I want. He's got good crossing, good dribbling, really brave, pretty quickish. He's not super tall though, so there is that problem. But remember, he is very much a case of a backup player to Thomas Stepanek, because I didn't want to have to play Ricky Griffiths there constantly. I wanted to be able to be a bit more versatile, and so I felt like just having an opportunity to sign a player like Nicholas Nielsen was a good option for us, just to have him there in behind Stepanek, and I think he could really do a job in that position with the crossing and dribbling of that kind of level, so that's pleasing to me. And there's one other defender I've signed. This one is, again, one for the future, but one that can sort of sit in that position. This is Anatoly Andriashenko, who, despite having a very sort of Russian/Ukrainian sounding name, has actually come in from a team called Matsva Sabac over in Serbia. I believe that's Serbia. I'm not sure, actually. I thought that was a different country. They appear to be a lower league team in Serbia. Point is, though, 6 foot tall, so not the tallest, but he is pretty fast, and that's the key thing, and has great heading despite that. His jumping reach is a little bit on the low side, but marking and tackling are pretty solid. 5-star potential, only 19 years old. I think this guy's a definite good backup to a lot of our players. 2 more big signings. One of them, their name might be the greatest name. Of all the names, this one might be it. But I'm not going to show you him first because there's a story behind why he's signed. This is he. This is Jose Leilson Guerrera. I would love to know how to pronounce his surname. Is it Guerra or Guerra? Or something completely to the opposite of that. Here he is, 16 dribbling, 17 finishing, 17 first touch, 14 composure. Now he's only 5'9". He's pretty quickly. He's got great stamina, great balance and agility. Passing ain't bad. Excellent technique, great vision, very determined. 21 years old. Now he is on £140,000 a week. That was what I was talking about. He did cost us a lot of money, and he is expecting us to finish in the top half of the Premier League next season. So I had to make a lot of promises, including strengthening the midfield. That was another promise I was forced to make. Thankfully, I was able to do that because I had a player in mind already, and it did count. I never know what to do with those promises, because sometimes you'll sign a player and they're like, no, that's not strong enough. But he has joined us. He scored 34 and 74 for Sao Paulo. He's joined us for 20 million. He had a release clause of 20 million pounds, so it's 6 million pounds cheaper than Cerecedo. And I believe he's also younger, I believe, than Cerecedo. And I think overall, apart from his height, there's some things about this guy that I think are just that little bit better. Finishing, first touch, dribbling are very, very important for me. Strong on both feet, very important factor there. I think there's a lot to like about this guy. For 20 million pounds, I know it's cost us a lot in wages, but 20 million quid for a player like this, I really could not say no. And I think this could be the change that puts us into a different stratosphere this year. I hope that this guy could be the lifeline for us. Now, I'm going to need a nickname for all these new players as well. Now, so drop those in the comments. I'm always interested in that. As I said, part of his deal when he joined us was that I tried to get rid of it, it wasn't happening, was to sign a player to strengthen the midfield. Now, I did have a few options in mind, but I was a bit concerned because I actually quite like our central midfield because we've signed SecondYellowCard onto a new contract as well. We've got Dubois, Silla, Ferguson, SecondYellowCard, and also players that come back on loan, so Fuster's back too. We've got a couple more players in there, including Harry Maguigan as well as options in those central midfield positions. So I was a bit perturbed about the idea of having to bring in someone new, but then I remembered I'd scouted a guy. You're gonna love this. I cannot believe this is real. It's Paulo Assman. I sometimes see funny names, and I always think, if only you were a good player. If only, because then we could sign you. And then this guy exists. Now, obviously you can see where this guy's going to play. He's a Metsala. He's a Metsala through and through. Everything about him, apart from maybe his tackling, are pure Metsala. I think he's played in a game recently, which is why this is on the downward slope, unfortunately. I like this guy a lot. I mean, he cost us 5.75 million as well from Independiente, which to me is an absolute bloody bargain, considering he's already worth 15 mil for us. I love this guy so much. 35 grand a week. He's called Paulo Assman. We've had Booty, now we've got Assman. I don't know what more you want about this, and I think we've made a huge deal. Now, you might be thinking, you sold a right back and did not sign one. Yeah. That's the problem. That's the one position I'm still looking at for. There's a guy that's playing for Gil Vicente over in Portugal who's not bad, but they'd want like 20 mil. And I might be tempted to go and get him. And when I say Charity Shield, I mean Community Shield. We actually start off away at Watford on the opening day. Then we've got Villa. It's a reasonably okay start to the year for us, would you believe? We've played City 7 times and lost all 7 times. So, selection advice. We want to be playing that one, which we are. Let's move this around a little bit. Well, obviously not. Like, obviously not. I really don't know. You know? Oh, Ferguson's wanted by someone who? Newcastle. Okay, interesting. I mean, our lineup's barely changed, as you can see, but the main inclusions are Guerra and Assman. That's the big additions here. Santana and Hansen. Everything is just that little bit better, I feel like. So the bench is going to be Lever, Luetti, Silla, and Peppo, Drina, Griffiths, and Nielsen. I did even think about maybe selling Costel Troffin, but nobody put a bid in anyway, so it was fine. Also, and Peppo's got such a high value that I wondered if we could get rid of him instead, because he was worth like 32 million, and I did set an asking price a little bit above that just to see if I could entice anyone, but no one actually came in the end. I'm going to start with Dubois today, though, I think. Him and Assman, but obviously Silla will get plenty of chances too. We're going to need to rotate these guys. Now, you might think it's stupid going toe-to-toe with them, but it's the Charity Shield or whatever, so I'm not really super bothered about us winning that, really, and I want to just see what the guys can do when they're actually told to play the proper style. Of course, we're keen to avenge them because we've lost every game. I'm not sure what to expect. I don't suppose the patch will have changed a great deal from what I could tell, but I'm interested to see how it affects the set-piece situation, so that'd be kind of cool. It was always going to be a struggle. Guerra. Ooh, into the side netting. Yeah, he's also pretty solid from dead ball situations too. Just remember, in terms of personnel, very little has changed, other with the additions of Assman and Guerra. That's the only real changes to the squad. And City have had, oh, good save by Suarez. Their first shot of the game comes after 20 minutes. There's been almost no highlights. The only highlight have been the free kick, and then that shot from, I believe, Sterling. And now this. It's actually been a very, very dull game so far, to be honest. Which I guess suits us in a way, but we've really looked very bad. I might just try and unleash us down the wings a little bit, because they're playing that DM, and sometimes you get a bit blocked there. And I might just turn those off and just get them a bit more free-flowing. I really hope that the new patch hasn't mucked too much with the game, because it was actually in a reasonably good state for a lot of areas, except for really the set piece situation. A good sign from us, though, is the fact that we've not given them much either. Which is a lot more than we can normally say for games against Manchester City. Riccardi, a bit of space out wide. He's going to shoot himself. And a great save by Marvin Suarez. Well played. City have made a lot of changes. Danny, I noticed that we've actually got a guy marking the lad on the edge of the box for once. Santana, here we go. Guerra's got the ball. He's got Stepanek, I think, with him. He finds him. Can Stepanek take his man on? He's going to get a shot in here. And a relatively easy one for the goalkeeper, but nice work for them nevertheless. It's been a pretty subdued match in general, but keeping the scoreline down is always a good sign for us. Shows we've got a bit more defensive fortitude than we've had in recent years, which is never a bad thing. Bernardo, Ray, Dubois, just clear it. Oh, hello, he's found Guerra. Get it back for someone who knows what they're doing. Silla. So it's through for Stepanek! Oh, what a chance. What a lovely piece of football that was. Genuinely excellent. But what I'd say, if we're putting this sort of level performance in against a team like Manchester City, maybe we'll have a shot at this season. Griffiths, ball over the top for Guerra. He's going to have to get the shot away. And it's, what a stop. Really good play, though, from our striker. Just excellent goalkeeping is all that denied him. He really did do great there. Guerra. And Perrier saved again. In the first 90... Are they allowed to do 4 subs in the first 90 minutes? Huh. I did not know you could do that. Chitty does brilliantly. Nielsen. Lovely ball around the corner. Still has got to look into the channel here. Nearly very poor, but he's got away with it. Griffiths. Over the top from Peppo. Lovely goal. Notts County 1, Manchester City 0. Issa and Peppo off the bench, and within a matter of seconds has given us the lead in the Community Shield final. We were not good for the early stages of this game, but we've got some... Look at this from Ricky Griffiths, by the way. Absolutely perfect ball. Lovely first touch from Peppo. And he scores our first goal of the season, of all things, when we've just signed a new striker. Brilliant work, lads. Wonderful stuff. Either way, we are a minute away from winning the damn thing, which I would not have expected. Brilliant work from the lads, to be honest. We've created 3 clear-cut chances against Manchester City and given them 2 half chances in the entire match. Second half has really been all us. Nielsen. Silla. Can he look beyond, perhaps? He does find Nielsen. Can he dig a cross out? Goes past one. Ball across and Santana! Wide of the goal and another big chance for us there at the back post. Are we going to stop the game anytime soon? Cleared it away and then Peppo's got it. He's going to have a little go at goal here, perhaps. If he can get past his man, he's not going to be able to, is he? Not quite, but it doesn't matter. Notts County 1, Manchester City 0. We've won the Community Shield and then Peppo's scored the winner. Beautiful stuff. To be fair, Guerra still looked lively in that match, and I think in the league he could definitely do something, but Peppo clearly has still something to offer. So happy with that. That second half performance was truly fantastic from us. How in the name of God did a player who got a 7.4 win man of the match over our striker who scored the winning goal and got an 8.0? Nevertheless, though, perfect start to the season, winning the Community Shield over Manchester City, the Premier League champions. Hey, maybe this year we can go for a top half and qualify for Europe again through the league, perhaps. I don't know. Beautiful stuff to see, though. To do our next match as the first episode, as like a few games off camera, do 5 off camera, do a single live con for the first time in bloody ages, do a load of matches off camera, because look at this is some eminently winnable games in here, potentially. We'll muck it up, of course. But then play our first ever game in Europe. That, to me, sounds like a bloody good idea. So, if you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you have, drop a like on the video. We played a team called Reggae Boys in mid-season. We also beat Milan in a friendly, so there's that. Yeah, drop a like. That'd be spectacular. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be glorious as well. And I will see you guys very, very soon. As always, hold your gun, capybara. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.